In the Batei Din which we are now creating, there is absolutely no desire in any way to rebel against or to be competitive with the Rabbanut Harashit. We are completely within halacha, and we see a very tremendous problem facing the society in Israel. After perestroika, after a very long battle to bring Russian Jews to Israel, the homeland, thank God, under the law of return in Israel, there are now some 350,000 Russians, formerly of the Soviet Union, who came here under the law of return. The law of return declares that any Jew has the right of automatic citizenship, because between 1939 and 1945, 6 million Jews were murdered because they couldn't find safe haven anywhere in the world. Now, of these Jews who came back in the right of return, it was very important to understand who is a Jew by definition. And the Knesset made a decision. And that decision was that anyone who was Jew enough to have been sent to Auschwitz has to be Jew enough for the right of return in Israel. And to be sent to Auschwitz, it was sufficient if you had one Jewish grandparent. And that means from the paternal or maternal side. Now, after perestroika and the opening of the iron gates, of the iron wall surrounding the Soviet Union, the former Soviet Union, approximately 1.1 million people from the Soviet Union arrived in Israel under the law of return. Of this group, 350,000 roughly were only Jewish paternally and not maternally. They now have about 100,000 children who are in Israeli schools. They're living with us. They're fighting alongside of us in the IDF. They're going to our schools and our universities. How can we possibly countenance a situation in which there are 450,000 out of 6 million, a very large percentage, who are Israeli by the law of return, but not Jewish halachically, so that they cannot intermarry with the other Jews. They cannot be buried in Jewish cemeteries if, God forbid, something happens to them in the IDF. And therefore, it behooves us to open our hearts to them and to do everything that we can to convert them to Judaism. Now, it's fascinating when you study halacha, because halacha is so broad and deals with every issue. There is a category within halacha called Zera Yisrael. If you are paternally Jewish and not maternally Jewish, you require a formal conversion, circumcision, and ritual immersion. But, as the Mishpatei Uziel, a Rav Harashi of Israel for close to 40 years, taught and wrote, it behooves every religious court to convert such people, because they have Jewish DNA from the parental side, from the paternal side. And therefore, not to be exacting, certainly not to be harsh concerning them, but to deeply encourage their conversion. Tragically, that's not the way they are being treated by the present Haredi Rabbinate. And that really is a tragedy. We dare not see a community in Israel bifurcated into Israelis on the one hand and halachically proper Jews on the other, who cannot intermarry and cannot really intermingle. And who would want to see an intermarriage problem in Israel rivaling the intermarriage problem in America and Europe? Chas v'shalom. To this end, about 15 rabbis, but leading Orthodox rabbis in Israel, most of us rabbis and Rosh Yeshiva, under the leadership of Rav Nachum Rabinovich, Ma'aleh Adumim, world-renowned Talmid Chacham, decided that it's very important to have religious courts which will be more user-friendly and encourage and welcome those from the former Soviet Union to have conversions. That's what we're doing. I want to make it very clear it's not a rebellion against the chief rabbinate. By law, the chief rabbinate does not have exclusive control over conversion. And until about a decade ago, every city rabbi had the right to open up his own conversion court. And there's a right for every Orthodox rabbi to be involved in conversions. So we're talking about halachic conversions under Orthodox rabbis, very different from conservative or reform. There's no chance of their getting into the picture because they don't accept the halachic rubric, and therefore they cannot operate within the halachic rubric. But we're talking about Orthodox rabbis who in general have been tested by the chief rabbinate, the city rabbis like myself, who had the extra test of the chief rabbinate, consider myself one of the rabbis of the chief rabbinate, and they should not be asking for an exclusivity. We have a problem, a social problem, that can and must be solved, and we are a group of rabbis who are more than willing to try to solve the problem without, by the way, taking any kind of remuneration for doing what we're doing.